Typically, we experiment with YouTube, but today, YouTube experiments with us. Because YouTube just changed how Shorts views are counted, and it might be the most unnecessary, overcomplicated, and absolutely cosmetic change we've seen in a while. But that's what makes it interesting. So today we're diving into a really baffling update to the Shorts dashboard since, like, ever. So let's break it down. YouTube now splits Shorts analytics into two categories: views and views again, and engaged views. Sounds simple, right? Well, it's not. Shorts views now count as soon as someone sees your short. And then it goes on to say here, historically, as in yesterday, a view had been counted after a short was played for a certain number of seconds. So a view now counts as soon as someone sees your short, which, I mean, that used to be called an impression. Like typically here in this section, there would have been a shown in feed section, which is essentially the Shorts version of impressions. So YouTube's grand idea was to basically take impressions, slap a new label on them, and call them views. See, look here. Views and then views. Not confusing at all, right? Well, here's the little wrench they've thrown in now. So now the gold standard is engaged views. These are the viewers that watched your short for longer. How much longer? Tell us how much longer, Megan. Well, it's a certain number of seconds. So, in other words, Megan is not going to tell us. It could be 5 seconds. It could be 10 seconds. Or maybe I have to whisper sweet nothings to the algorithm for a full short before engagement? Well, that's the thing. No one knows. So essentially, on the surface, it seems like they have taken a perfectly understandable system, swiped and viewed, which is also gone, by the way. They've thrown it over here in the engagement tab now, and now they're calling it stayed to watch and swiped away. But now they've made it more ambiguous, because views actually used to mean something, and now it means that you exist. But wait, there's more. So here's where it gets even weirder. YouTube says monetization still requires those 3 million views right there. There we go, right there, 3 million, which is literally exactly what it was before. So what changed? I guess nothing? Except now maybe you will see 167 views and feel good for all of 8 whole seconds just to realize that only 88 of them counted as engaged views. So you've got inflated expectations and deflated meaning. So what this means essentially is that if you're me and you run a social experiment channel and you see this little number on Studio that says your view count, well, that basically just means those are your impressions. And then in order to see my actual view count, I have to go all the way into the video and go in to see its engaged views now. So on the surface, it looks like your videos are doing better, but they're not. Another question I have is, if a view no longer requires watch time, then how is it different from an impression? So YouTube's changed the definitions, but not the outcome. The monetization threshold is still the same. The strategy to grow, I guess, hasn't changed, but now your dashboard is just vaguer. Now, this is just for short, so if you go into long forms, there's still impressions there, there's still a click-through rate. Oh gosh, that's horrible. So yeah, basically we're calling things that used to be impressions views, and we're calling engagement something secretive and undefined. It's almost like YouTube saw a perfectly functioning system and said, we're really excited about this, and we hope that you are too. So what does this mean for us? Well, functionally nothing, but mentally everything. I've actually done this a few times today already. I've looked at the view count, and then I've had to manually go into Studio and click on engaged views to see what my actual number of views are. So me and all creators are now kind of forced to do, I guess, a little bit of math on top of the guesswork. How many of my views are real, and is my content worse now, or is the metric just less helpful? And the biggest question of all is, did YouTube change this for us? Because what it says here is that we recognize that you want a deeper understanding of how your short form videos are performing holistically, but this doesn't help me. So did they change it for us or for them? Now, I don't actually know this to be the case or to be true, but one explanation that I've kind of been bouncing around in my head is that maybe they're doing this so that maybe when advertisers contact YouTube Like they see these really sexy numbers on views and are maybe more inclined to spend money on the platform? Because this does absolutely nothing for us. It seems like more of a perception shift and not a performance one. And the kicker is we're still being judged by the same metrics. YouTube does want engagement, but they just don't want to tell you what qualifies as it anymore. So if you're trying to get a channel off the ground with shorts, nothing's really changed except now you just have to dig harder to see what's actually working now. Engaged views are still the path to salvation, looks like, and views are just an illusion. So it all boils down to, the real question is, how many of your viewers are actually engaged? I'm personally not engaged. I am married, but that's beside the point. And then what are you gonna do to raise that number? Well, if you're new here, this is the Algorithmic Almanac, a social experiment channel directly influenced by you, the viewer. We're trying to see how quickly we can grow a YouTube channel from scratch with no ads and no promotion, no external linking, no sanity, and basically just push it as high as we possibly can and document every single thing in real time, including how much money it ends up making. This is all an experiment, and we document it day by day, full transparency, full weirdness, and a little bit of algorithm reverence. Yo, the pig, if you're watching this, I never ever get notified whenever you comment on anything. What I was gonna say is, if that sounds like your thing, drop a engaged viewer comment down below and hit sub to join the experiment. And also this homie right here, the legend of the thew of Matt. I'm so proud of this comment. He who of which resides inside another slightly less uppercased Matt. I guess probably a final thought is that it's hilarious that they even say in the statement, views may be higher moving forward. Oh man, I didn't even see this. This is even better. We hope that this deeper understanding of your shorts performance will help inform your content strategy. And hey, we're all really excited about this, and Megan hopes we are too. Finally, let's see what user 47194 has to say about that. Yik. Gibkui gigigivik. Vugi gavui. Let chat here if you are truly friend. I'll see you guys tomorrow.